Hey y'all, so Jesse. Today's moral and is don't laugh at immorality. Okay, it's number 13. Um, and it comes from the Bible, where Noah drank some wine and got undressed and was laying there naked in his tent, and Ham walked in and saw him and laughed. And well, later on, Noah woke up and got mad. And he didn't curse Ham. He cursed Ham's son, Canaan, with hard labor and servitude. Now, the rest of the story is like this. Ham had 4 kids. One was Canaan, that was cursed, so that's 25% of his children were cursed. Canaan is the same Canaan that settled down in the land of Canaan. That's why it's called the land of Canaan. However, in the Bible, folks often get Canaan and Cush mixed up. The Cushites are the black folks. That's Africa. Okay? The Cushites weren't cursed. It was the Canaanites that were cursed, right? So, think about that a little bit. We've got, in America, we've got things like the hate groups, like the Ku Klux Klan and all that, and they aren't very nice folks. They're kind of hateful. And they have beliefs that are just crazy. They're just crazy folks. It's all over the place. Just remember that, and there's a lot of old white folks in America that are like, them black folks, they cursed, and all this and that. And for a long time in America, there was the thought that black folks were cursed to be slaves or to be what have you. But that's a mistake. When you read the Bible, that's actually a mistake, because the land of Canaan and Arabs in the land of Canaan are the ones that were cursed. So you're talking about, the Philistines. That's the land of Canaan. It would be the modern day Palestinians that have that curse. And perhaps, some folks from the surrounding areas. So consider that. Because it's not Africa that should be treated bad. It's not Africans that should be treated bad. They should not be treated bad by the rest of the world. There's nothing wrong with them, They don't have biblical curses on them. They're just descendants of Cush. And that's a little bit off topic. But it leads into the point that I was making. It's like, don't laugh at immorality, because you don't know the consequences, how bad the consequences of that can be. And this is like, maybe not the ultimate consequences of losing your life, but what did it do to Ham's children and children's children's children in perpetuity? Their grandfather, Canaan's grandfather, cursed him and his children's children's children for generations. Okay? And Yahweh, He, our God, for whatever reason, probably because he knew the trouble that Israel was going to have with the Canaanites, allowed for that. So, and, you know, that's a pretty bad thing, you know, and so we ought not to be laughing at nakedness or immorality or drunkenness or any of that kind of thing. It's not a thing it's like, okay, that's not very good. Don't laugh at it. That can cause problems. In the past history of the world, like, there's been a lot of folks really, really cursed by God for taking joy in immorality or laughing at it or whatever, and causing shame. So think about that before when you're having an emotional response. And you know, there's a time to keep your mouth shut, just like, even if you're like, oh man, just keep your mouth shut and walk away. Because it's not, you shouldn't train your mind to take joy in immorality. It's not wholesome. And with that comes, like, if somebody catches you doing something wrong, please don't curse them like Noah cursed his grandson. It was Ham, his son, that should have been cursed and borne the burden for his sin, not Ham's son, right? So don't take your anger out on the wrong person. It seems like that's another lesson that we could take from this. So, you know, like, a son should not bear the sins of their father. You know? That's as the saying goes. The son should not bear the sins of the father. The father sins, he should be responsible for his own sins. And if a son sins, the son should be responsible for his own sins. So, you know, and, you know, same for mothers and daughters and you know, whatnot. So consider that, and consider that even though we don't see a lot of supernatural things, well, ordinarily, human beings don't recognize supernatural things for being supernatural. Let me put it that way. And I can tell you from my personal experience, the workings of prayer and prophecy don't have a magical supernatural feeling, because as human beings, you can't feel supernatural, okay? That's not an emotional feeling, okay? But when you pray for something and it happens, and you know what it is, and you know who you prayed to, that's supernatural. And it's very easy to forget that Yahweh He is a being too that's separate from you, that in order to not cause terror in the earth, right, by his simple presence, he hides from us his terrifying nature. Okay? So be aware that if you laugh at immorality, there is someone there that's watching you, that's hiding their terrifying presence, right? And so that you don't freak out and and it is him, it is Yahweh He that will take notice of what you're doing. And 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 he has allowed some very terrible life-destroying curses in the past because of laughter at immorality, right? So just think about that, and I would like to hear your thoughts on it, and maybe I'm taking it way too out of context or what have you. And those of you that are okay with talking about racial stuff, I'll take some comments on that too. Just don't get out of hand. It is interesting to know that a lot of the old American racism was completely wrong. Had the wrong group of people. It's pretty funny, isn't it? I mean, it's funny, but it's not, because it was a whole country that believed that at one point in time, that kind of stuff. Or I won't say a whole country, but quite a lot of white folks did. And some of the black folks were convinced too, It's kind of, it's terrifying how misinformation can destroy a country like that. So think about that stuff. If you like what I had to say, give me the old thumbs up. Remember to practice morality and to think about things. And, yep, y'all have a good one.